dear. Right, this is just another test, see if it records okay. I'm just looking at the news. You see, there's all these people who are doing these protests, and I think they're going to get themselves into a lot of trouble. If you're one of these socialists or whatever, lefties or whatever, thinking this is just a jolly good laugh, you may end up facing a lot of serious prison time. And I think you might end up being viewed as, well, something rather unpleasant. I don't think it's particularly wise for these people to be doing this. It's one thing if you're in your 60s, one of these silly twits in the 60s who are left wing. To be truthfully honest, they're retired. It's not going to affect them as much. But all these youngsters, they're going to find it quite hard to get jobs, I'd imagine, in the future, because they'll be associated. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh dear. You see, the danger is they've got with Israel is obviously it goes over the top. They might end up losing support. It'll be interesting. Also, the danger is, will it drag in other countries? All these problems. Oh dear. Okay, these people. You see, there's all these youngsters thinking it's clever. They're thinking, this is just a jolly day out. I don't think these youngsters are going to realise it. This isn't like a week ago where you could have a bit of a jolly, jape going around, doing your little protest. No one cared less then. They were sort of just, we saw them going into, sports shops and stuff in Manchester and elsewhere. It was just, no one took any notice. The trouble is now things have changed. And I think they're very unwise. This is a whole new game change that, they could end up having the book thrown at them if they're arrested. I mean, it's, connect yourself with them. I just think they're foolish. I mean, it's going to be hell on earth, these, they're going to end up, I think there's going to be kids going to prison who are thinking, because in the past, they've got away with rioting, and unfortunately, I don't think it helps when you've got some left-wing politicians going to these rallies, and I'd almost suggest that they are encouraging these young kids to prat around and make probably huge life mistakes. I don't think it's going to end up well for them. It's all right wearing little masks, which makes you look rather dodgy anyway. I mean, if you believed in this, you wouldn't be wearing masks. Any protester these days who wears masks looks as dodgy as anything. It doesn't look like you believe in your cause, and it makes you look like you actually know you're not on the right side. Because if you was proud, you'd be showing your face. Shame on them. Let's see what else is there. It's all just the same depressing stuff. Let's see. Oh dear. Not really interested in sport. Most boring thing going. I knew a girl who I went to school with. She's upset with me because I was laughing because all she seems to be into now is rugby. That's, I've got the impression the life's rather sad. It's a bit of a sad sport, really. Well, most sports. I never get into why people follow sport. It's a pity. I think people have got nothing else in life. They just follow sports, don't they? Rather than being their own person, they live life through others. And so they do things like, they follow football or rugby or whatever. And emotional because outside with football and rugby, they tend not to have much of a life. You usually find that they're married to women or men who aren't particularly that interesting or attractive. That's that mould. That's interesting. Just looking at some mould there. Or mushrooms or whatever you call them. There's a bit. Must be a season for these mould. Now they've turned the water back on apparently. I did think turning the water off was a bit silly. One thing to turn the electricity off, but then again you see the trouble is that the hospitals don't get power. And they get accused of being a bad person. Oh, there's a beetle there. Big beetle walking along the ground. What else is going on? Looks like some of the BBC journalists have been up to not being pleasant about things they post on social media. I mean, it's the end game for the BBC. I mean, I used to love the BBC. I used to watch TV non-stop. I don't think I've turned on TV for, 10 years or so. It's just become boring on all the channels, not just the BBC. I noticed that, Big Brother, next to no views now. It's over for these channels. And who wants to sit and watch TV when you can go on YouTube? I mean, I think I was looking, they were saying that viewership was hitting 800,000 for Big Brother. There's people just opening boxes, sat in front of a computer, no cost except for your computer and a bit of broadband and basically next to nothing. Who are getting more views than that? I mean, are advertisers going to carry on advertising when they're getting such low views? And I suspect a lot of people who watch TV just have it on as background noise, so they're not even watching it, I bet, in most cases. It's just there as they're wandering around the house just to have something giving them a bit of comfort. In fact, I suspect most of the time the TV's on, they're probably sat on the couch looking at the phones, looking at Twitter. It's just a fit, it's just a bit of noise in the background because it's comforting rather than having silence. It's comforting to have that sort of flickering of a screen rather than sat in silence. But I can't see the BBC. I mean, I think the BBC are foolish in some ways because what they've got now is they've got themselves into a position where they've got several stations. I don't know I think they've closed some down. But most of the time you're having to fill their time up, so you're having to pump out drivel rather than you have it on demand. Whereas they just do. So I thought I had a motorbike. You could just do quality shows and have more people paying. Yeah, I can hear a motorbike, but it sounds like it's quite a way away. Just got to be careful. There's always some idiots. Oh, there's a house over there. It's sort of silhouette as it comes through. What I'll have to do, if this records okay, I might start doing this. Live thing rather than just showing the screen just for these today because can't be bothered, I'm too lazy. Then another one. It smells a bit mouldy actually. But yeah, I mean, the glory days of Reed sitting behind them. They used to put out some great comedies, but now, I watched at my friends, because I don't have a TV, don't even bother with a TV these days. I watched that Ghost thing, and that was just bland. Honestly, it just, you compare that to even just a few years ago when I think there was this Brother and Sisters comedy they had on BBC Two. At least that was quite funny. But you just feel that, somewhere a few years ago there seemed to, all these channels, Disney, everyone, they all seem to have been conned into going woke and being told, oh, that's the way to go. And it's just bland rubbish. No one's interested in. Being rejected, and yet they keep trying it over and over. I mean, Disney used to be, I've said it, I can talk about Disney, Walt Disney non-stop. I thought it was fantastic. And the quality produced, everything it was almost like he didn't care if he made a profit. He just wanted to pump out quality. And so, when you look at the making of, Snow White, that sort of major film, which was a huge gamble, and even then he sort of took time and expense to just get everything perfect, everything, incredible detail, way over the top. I mean, I don't think film firms would risk doing that today, but he was more interested in producing, perfection rather than just profit. I mean, I'm sure he could have made that film on the cheap. I mean, you look at what you're pumping out now. It's like, even though they cost millions, they just feel they just feel cheap, all these films. They don't feel there's any quality. I mean, I don't want to watch films anymore. I've just given up. They're just pumping out bland, uninteresting rubbish all the time. And I think everyone's sick of it. Like I've said before, I used to love Star Wars, but the bland stuff. I mean, I love the first three. I was absolutely admiration of the first three. I could talk non-stop, and I used to buy everyone silly with them. And then they brought out three more, and to be honest, I enjoyed them. I know some people didn't. I was still such a fan. I love them. Then they brought out these Walt Disney versions, and my goodness, what is there? That one's there. Oh, there's the other back coming. She's sniffing clearly. But I think, I actually fell asleep watching one. I just think the people behind these, I don't understand. It's not difficult. You're there to make films that are entertaining or TV shows. How hard is that to get through these people's skulls? But instead they're more interested in just pumping out garbage all the time. Anyway, I'm going off subject there. That wasn't the story, was it? Let's see what else. Violent transgender prisoner. Oh dear. Her life sentence, even though she's got a beard. I don't know. I mean, I've given up on this. Oh dear. What else is there going on? someone else has been arrested or whatnot. The thing is, with this tree, is... Oh, what's he saying? Oh, he's saying it wasn't the one because he chopped down watching Netflix, etc. The thing is, I can't see possibly what they do even if they found somebody, because, it's not... Would you even, is it even a prison sentence chopping a tree down? Or is it just like a £10 fine? It seems a pointless exercise. I mean, the whole thing seems bizarre. I mean, they said it was done professionally. Well, I've chopped a tree down. If you go on YouTube, they tell you to do it at an angle. You do one cut at an angle and then another one behind. So the idea is it's to force a tree to go in one direction, which doesn't always work. If I was suspicious, I've got a feeling somebody's got in their head there's money or something buried in that tree, and they were cutting it down to see if there was, which there clearly isn't. That's what I suspect. I mean, there's lots of people with chainsaws. They were on about DNA of the tree, and I thought, I'm not sure if you can ID trees like that in that way. But I just can't see how they're going to ever prove, unless somebody admits to it, which I can't see happening. And again, to be honest, if he is a proper lumberjack, I don't think he'd have cut the tree like that. If you ever go on YouTube, they cut trees in a special way, rather than just flat. I mean, that looks like it's a flat cut, which looks like an amateur's done it. I mean, they've had to have a long chainsaw, presumably, or gone round it. I don't know how long you'd need one actually to cut through like that. But it doesn't look like it's done by a pro, even though everyone claims it is, simply because of the way they haven't cut it in a way to control the fall. I'm very doubtful it's somebody who knows what they're doing. I think it's somebody who's just picked up a chainsaw, in my opinion, and whatever reason, and again I suspect somebody's got in their head there's gold or something inside, as these rumours get about. Although, why won't they cut other bits out? It doesn't make sense, does it really? Maybe it was just run out of badness because it was on the film. It was on a scene in Robin Hood. What's that sheep out there? Say some eyes reflecting back. Or maybe they just didn't like the film. It's all weird. I mean, it could have been done by a pro, just done quick. Didn't care if it fell one direction or the other. But again, there's a danger, you see. That tree could have fallen on them. If they did it in the dark, that's why I'm wondering, is it done by a pro? I mean, unless they use some good light. If that tree falls wrong, you don't have much time to get out of the way. And that's serious weight. It's basically a death sentence if that tree falls on you. You haven't planned it coming down your way. Anyway, let's see. I think I'll leave it there. That's an interesting little test. See if we can disconnect just pressing the power button, which will make life easier. So I'm pressing the